Namaste and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Puneet Amin and you're watching my ownership review of Royal Enfield's Interceptor 650. Now, I've owned this motorcycle for around a year and ridden around 9,200 kilometers in total, which has been a combination of touring as well as a little bit of urban riding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the good points, the bad points and the area of improvements. Plus, I'm going to answer a few common questions that I've been regularly asked whenever I'm at the red signal stop or whenever I'm around the bike in the parking area. So now, let's begin. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, go hit that red subscription button. Also, hit that bell icon so that you come to know whenever I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram. I think the ID should be coming up right here. So here I have made a digital list. So let's start with the good points. Point number 1 is the looks and styling. No doubt, this Royal Enfield looks fabulous. On the looks and styling department, Royal Enfield has completely nailed it. So it's a modern retro classic style. A design that can never go old. This design is timeless. It has the potential of becoming a future classic. Now I'm gonna let you enjoy a few good shots of this motorcycle. Point number 2 is the performance. Now this is a 648cc parallel twin engine which puts around 47 brake horsepower and 52 Newton meters of torque. Now this is more than enough for your city riding, plus it's highly capable for your highway touring as well. Which brings me to point number 3, that is the vibrations. Now Royal Enfield products are always known for its vibration, made with the classic 350, the 500 or the Thunderbird or even the Bullet. They have a high tendency of vibrating whenever you cross the speed of 90 km per hour. But in this case, as it being a parallel twin engine, the vibrations automatically reduce. Plus, they have given counterbalancers in this engine which makes the vibrations non-existent. Coming to point number 4, the sitting position and the riding experience. Now, I'm 6 feet tall and for me the stock riding position is quite comfortable. Let me just put this phone inside my pocket and demonstrate it for you. As you can see, I am in a very comfortable seating position right now. My leg is in a comfortable shape as well as my hands, but if you are below 5'7" or 5'6", you will find difficulty to find a comfortable riding position for you. But as it being a Royal Enfield, you have a lot of aftermarket customization options available. Made with the handlebar risers, the seat comforts or the seat cushioning, you can definitely play around to find your comfortable position on this motorcycle. Now coming to the riding experience. Now I bought this motorcycle specifically for touring. Now there are a lot of touring videos that I have uploaded on my channel, so you can go ahead and watch it. Now when it comes to the highway experience, this puppy can perform with ease. It has no problem to cruise at around 120 or 130 kilometers per hour. The engine is stress free, also you are in a very comfortable position. But if you are planning to go beyond 140 or 150, the wind blast becomes so intense that it becomes very unbearable. Now coming to the city experience, I would say this motorcycle is not that comfortable, as it being a huge engine. In a start-stop traffic, it tends to heat up a lot. It's not that crazy of a heating that takes place, but it definitely makes your riding experience a little bit uncomfortable. Well, this sums up my good points about this motorcycle. Now let's go to the bad points. Bad point number 1, that is the high speed wobble. Now I'm going to share you my personal experience of my recent tour. So I was attempting a high speed of 150 kilometers per hour and I was around 140 kilometers per hour at that time at the empty stretch of road. So the bike was quite stable, even the engine was stress free. But if any undulation comes on the road, maybe the highway strips or even a small pebble that lands up under your front wheel, the bike gets completely disturbed and starts to wobble, which is not at all confidence inspiring, and hence from that moment onwards I was just cruising between 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. Bad point number 2, the parts and the paint quality. Let me show it to you personally. Now here's my first major concern. Now you see this engine casing. Now it's basically a cast aluminum casing which tends to attract a lot of oxidation mainly during monsoon. This problem has been plaguing Royal Enfield's bike since more than a decade. I've seen this problem on the Classic, I've seen this problem on the Bullet. It's there prominently. I don't know why Royal Enfield does not change it. Come on, you already know it, and especially if you're living anywhere near to the coastal area or the sea, you are going to face this issue every time. People will say you do metal polish and all. I've done that. The process of reoccurring becomes slower, but it does happen. So that is one of the bad points. Royal Enfield, if you're watching it, please do something about it, and if you do it, please give me a compensation about this thing. Paint problem number 2. Now as you can see, this part has already chipped off, and you can see a lot of bubbling taking place. Now the same problem continues on the engine as well. Now if you can see closely, at this point you will see a lot of bubbling taking place. That means it's gonna chip off soon. Also, Royal Enfield's second plague is rusting. When I was buying the Interceptor, I thought they might have solved this problem, but no, that's not the case. Here, as you can see closely, there is rusting and chipping taking place from the cylinder heads, as well as you can see the bolt is completely rusted from inside, which is again an ugly part, and also I will suggest Royal Enfield to change it. Also, it being a Royal Enfield, you presume that it is going to be a metal bike, but in this machine you will find plastic bits here and there, like on the mudguard, the side panel, and the rear mudguard. Also, the plastic used on the common touchy parts like the switchgear feels cheap. Coming to point number 3, the tires. Now it may look Pirelli, but it is not at all the high standard Pirelli that you expect. That means you cannot go Valentino Rossi on these tires. Now this is the most basic grade tire that a Pirelli can offer. Coming to point number 4, the fuel tank capacity of this motorcycle. Now if you're planning to use this motorcycle for touring, that means you will have to make a regular stops. Now this motorcycle gives an average between 20 to 25 kilometers per liter. That means the capacity of 13.7 liters in this tank will give you a range of not more than 250 kilometers. In my recent ride, my fellow rider was riding a Mojo who had a range of 500 kilometers on every fill up. That means he was getting irritated every time I had to make a fuel stop. Now that sums up my bad points about this motorcycle. Now there are a lot of good points as well. If I go mention all of them, this video is going to become very long. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start answering the common question that has been asked to me personally. So the first question is the average. Kitna deti hai? So on a city it gives me around 20 kilometers per liter, and if you are on a highway and cruising on a comfortable speed of 100 to 120 kilometers per hour, it gives you an average of around 23 to 25 kilometers per liter. The next question is the service and the service intervals. So for this motorcycle, the service interval is quite long. It's either every 10,000 kilometer or an interval of 1 year, which is a very good point about this motorcycle. The third common question I get asked, that is it an elephant to maintain? Like, kya ye hathi hai? Weight wise, yes, it's a big heavy machine, but on the maintenance part, I would still say yeah, it's still an elephant because it demands a lot of attention from you. The fourth question is, can you corner on this motorcycle? Yes, you can, but you definitely can't go knee down on this motorcycle. But you can still enjoy the curvy roads of mountains and the ghats of India. The fifth question is the heating issue. Yes, this engine does heat up, but you will only feel it when you are in a start-stop traffic. The sixth question that I get asked is the long ride comfort. Like I said, you can customize this motorcycle as per your needs and your comfort, which will make your long touring effortless. The seventh question that I get asked, what all modifications I've done in this motorcycle. So I personally like keeping the motorcycle as stock as possible. The few modifications that I like to do is towards aesthetics or functionality. So like for my touring purpose, I have put an auxiliary headlamps, I have put LED bulbs in all 4 indicators, and I have put a Zana crash guard, which has proven very effective. When I was recently off-roading, I did drop the bike, but there was no scratch whatsoever. The next main and the important question of all is, should you buy a Royal Enfield Interceptor? Now, my purpose was to have a second motorcycle on which I can tour on and go long distances exploring the roads of India and in future outside India. That means there are more exciting vlogs coming up soon after the lockdown lifts up completely. Now it's up to you, what exactly are you looking from a motorcycle? For me, I wanted an upgrade from my single cylinder Pulsar 220 with a bump in twice the amount of power, also twice the number of cylinders. Hence, that's the only reason that I went and bought this particular motorcycle. Now, this sums up my overall ownership review and experience with the Royal Enfield 650, which means it's time to hop on the saddle and ride back home. Also, I forgot to mention how brilliant this engine sounds.